Thelemites. So I'm really happy to see two words come together. So I've been working with Hekate for three years, about 3 years. Does anybody heard about Hekate before? Yeah. Does anybody do magic? Okay. Okay. Well, so 3 years ago I was kind of I've been interested in magic for a while at that point. Just kind of like being an armchair magician, learning, reading different books, and then I started doing a bit of like planetary magic, a bit of Kabbalah stuff, a bit of ceremonial stuff, and I've discovered I took a course of Hekate magic with Jason Miller. Anybody heard of Jason Miller? He's one of the more famous magic occult teachers in North America. You might have heard of books like Financial Sorcery, Protection and Reversal Magic, and many more. So I've been discovering his books, and the way he was talking about magic really clicked with me. And I've heard he's doing the course, and I didn't know much about Hekate, so I'm like, okay, like I'm interested in his teachings, but I don't know if it's gonna be up my alley or not. And I did a reading, tarot reading, of course, and the reading basically told me it's gonna change your life. And looking back 3 years later, it definitely did change my life. Turn it 180 degrees and to the better. And in so many ways I can't even start to describe. Particularly helped me step into my power, like get more comfortable, like realize what my purpose is in this world is. It helped me learn magic. That the Hekate taught me magic. She's the queen of the witches. She's mentioned even in Macbeth as queen of the witches. She also coming back to the ceremonial magic. She led me to do Abramelin ritual. Anybody heard of Abramelin ritual? Yeah. So it's acquiring the knowledge and conversation of your holy guardian angel. So, and basically, I was working with Hekate, doing magic, but it wasn't like hitting hard. You know, like I thought it could be like more pronounced. And I asked Hekate, how do I make my magic stronger? And she basically told me, do this, do that. You know, like go celibate for a year. And I'm like, okay. And I thought about it, and okay, I'm like, sure. And then I realized I was doing Abramelin. And so that was a big step on my journey as well. So a good way to learn about any god is to go into the myths, right? So we don't really have a lot of myths about Hekate. So like for example with Aphrodite we have like we know like who her lovers are, you know, her history, where she's born from, you know, like all the details. But with Hekate there's not that much. Okay, yeah. But before I go into the myths, so she is part of the Greek pantheon. She's an ancient Greek goddess. She's goddess of the crossroads, the underworld, and liminal spaces. She's the key bearer. She's the torch bearer. She's defender of the gates. She's the opener of the roads. She's queen of witches. She's goddess of magic and witchcraft. She's goddess of pharmakia. Pharmakia is the word that pharmacy comes from, which means knowledge of plants, like psychoactive plants, medicinal plants, using them for magic, and so on. And she's a psychopath, which means she, like Hermes, she goes between the worlds. She feels at home at all domains, and she can take messages. She can connect you to other gods, other deities, other entities. So hopefully, as I go through the presentation, all those seemingly random things will start coming together and make sense. Wow, how they relate to her and how they relate to each other. Okay, so one of the myths that we know about her is the Titanomachy, the battle of the gods. So the Greek, anybody heard about this? So in the Greek mythology, we have the Olympians, right? So the Olympians are the third generation of the gods. Before that, it was Uranus and Gaia, so the god of the sky and the goddess of the earth, Gaia, and might be others. And basically, Uranus was having sex with Gaia and giving birth to all the other gods and goddesses. But Uranus didn't want to get off Gaia. He kind of stayed on her, and he didn't let her children come out. So they kind of stayed locked in the earth. And he didn't want to let them out because he didn't want them to take his power away from him. Until Kronos got out. I don't remember how, but Kronos, the god of time, got out, and he overturned Uranus. And he didn't want his children to overturn him just like he did his father, so he started eating them. You know the famous painting, Kronos eats his children, or just like this old guy kind of naked, kind of rips a child apart. Very famous image. And then Zeus got away. One of his kids, Zeus, got away, and it's like a whole story. They were hiding him in a cave. And then, of course, Zeus wanted to overthrow Kronos, and he started a war. There was a 10-year war of Titans, the old gods, and Olympians, the new gods, and Hekate played a crucial role in that battle, and in that war, because she had the keys to the underworld. Remember those kids of Uranus that were locked in the earth, and because they were locked in the earth, they were all deformed, and they were basically freaks. So they were a cyclops, and I don't remember the names, but they were those creatures with 100 arms. And Hekate, who is also kind of she's a triform goddess. She's like Siamese triplets. So she has a form of three. You probably seen her with like face and two faces and three bodies, two faces, 6 arms. So she didn't want. They were like her children, and she didn't want her children to be locked in the underworld. And she let them out, and they helped Zeus overthrow the Titans and come to power. And for that, Zeus gave her part dominion over all of his domains: the sea, the sky, and the underworld. So that's the myth number one. We know that so she's not part of the Olympians. So she doesn't sit on Mount Olympus. She's kind of does her separate thing, but she's held in high regards by Zeus, and she has domain over all the realms. And the next myth is the myth of Hades and Persephone, the abduction of Persephone. Anybody heard about that one?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that one is more famous, and so basically, Hades' brother, Zeus's brother Hades. He's the god of the underworld, and he's lonely in his underworld. He's alone with the dead people, and he goes to his brother Zeus and asks him, I want some company. I want to get married. So Zeus promises him his daughter from Demeter, and Zeus had a daughter, Persephone. He says, you can have my daughter as a wife. So Hades makes this beautiful narcissus flower, and when Persephone goes to pick up flowers at Elysian fields, he abducts her and takes her to the underworld. And nobody sees that except for Hekate, who is present in all domains. She sees everything, and Helios, who's the sun god, also sees everything because he's high in the sky. Everything under the sun observes. So Demeter, the mother of Persephone, looks for her for 9 days and 9 nights, and then Hekate comes to her and says, I know where your daughter is. She's with Hades in the underground. So she goes to Hades. Give me back my daughter. He doesn't want to give it back. He's like, we're married now, and so she stops producing harvest. She's the goddess of the harvest. She stops producing harvest. So he is forced to comply and give Persephone back, but because Persephone had some seeds of pomegranate while she was in the underworld, she's bound to the underworld. So she has to spend further the year in the underworld. And Hecate's role is to take her to the underworld and back. When she takes her to the underworld, she walks in front of her with her torches, lights the way, and protects her from the dangers of the darkness ahead. When she takes her back, she goes behind her, lights the way, and protects her from the darkness of the underworld behind. So when you meditate, when you think about those myths, you can kind of get the idea of what Hekate does. When you invite her into your life, she shines her torches and shows you the way. Mm-hmm. She takes you to the underworld. Where you can learn magic, where you can commune with the spirit, where you can establish connection with your ancestors. She is the queen of the dead. So it is said that she walks the street once a month, and she has a procession of restless dead, the Aori, people who died too soon, people who died violently, people who weren't ready to die, and they're not ready to go into the next world. So she utilizes them for magical purposes. So she gives them purpose through magic. But I'll get more. I'll speak more on that later. So those are the only two myths that we have about her, which is not much, and it gives her kind of like an air of like mystery. She's kind of, and as a liminal goddess, it kind of checks in with what she is. Another way to understand her are her epithets. So epithets are each god has a number of epithets. So there are kind of like names of their powers. It's kind of like the different faces of the same deity. So here are some of her epithets. So Chtonia is Hekate. Chtonia is Hekate of the underworld. Enodia, of the ways or of the streets. Phosphorus, the light bearer. So for example, when you want to work with her, when you want to call on her, and you have a specific goal in mind, you choose the specific epithet that correlates to that word, and that's kind of like a keyword. That gives you like a better connection. Say for example, you got you were buying coffee in Starbucks, and one of the staff was rude to you, and you want to complain, right? You could you could go to the CEO of Starbucks, but you probably won't get much from that, right? Because the CEO has other stuff to do. Or if you know the number for the regional manager, and you call that regional manager, it's easier to get through. They'll probably hear you out better, right? So the same idea is with epithets. So when you go Hekate or Great Hekate, it's like it's a big thing. It's the CEO of Starbucks. When you go Hekate Ektonia, specific the specific face of her, it's easier to get through. It's like for practical purposes. And also, it's easier when you meditate on those epithets, you can learn what she's all about, what she is about, her properties, her powers. So, phosphorus, the light bearer. So, for example, when I do tarot readings, I call about Hekate Enodia and Hekate Phosphorus. So Enodia, so the Hekate of the Crossroads, and Hekate of light, to shine her torches onto my reading, so I will know what's in store for me in the future. Okay, Kleidichos, the key bearer, Propylaea, before the gate. So, for example, you go to a job interview, and you want her to open the roads for you. You call for Hekate Kleidichos, open the roads. You stand before the door of the company and you say, Hekate Kleidichos, open the roads. Hekate Propylaea, open the gates. Let me step into my new life. Let me step into this new role. Soteria, Savior. So that's the same. It's Jesus shares this epithet, the Savior. So this is Hekate of the heavens. So this is like the elated form of Hekate. So it's a form of Hekate that you call for initiations, or for like spiritual growth, or mystical experiences. Propolos, companion. So as she walks with, as she accompanies Persephone on her way to the underworld, she can accompany you on the road of life. Anasaenoi, Queen of the Dead, connecting with ancestors, connecting with dead that wanna work. She's a child nurse. So one of her things is looking over infants, looking over kids. So as a mom, you can call for her to protect your kids. On the other hand, Brimo, the terrible one, that's her wrathful form. And that one, I don't recommend taking it lightly. She's like, she can be much, she can turn your life upside down. It's kind of like touching a live wire of electricity. It's like it's a lot of like very powerful current. So don't take this with some preparation. Don't start with that. Daduchos, the torchbearer. Amboza, one that transforms. Thesi, ruler of the material world. So that's one of the epithets that I call upon in my practice, in my invocation of Hekate. And when I was doing the Holy Guardian Angel work, and when I finally got that knowledge and conversation, when I finally felt that angel in my presence, when I felt it locking into my aura, um, part of the ritual is you have to bind all a hierarchy of demons to your service. And I was like, okay, so now we have to bind those demons. And he's like, don't worry about it. You've been every night you've been doing this invocation and asking Hekate feces to bind all demons and set them to your service. He pointed my attention to that line in the daily invocation of her, and he's like, "You got that covered." She bound all the demons for you. Medusa. You heard of Medusa? One of the gorgons with the woman with the snakes for the hair. So that's one of she's related to Hekate. It's one of the Hekatean forms, and I have a Medusa talisman in my car to protect me from accidents and theft and cops, and it works really well. And the last one, I kind of included that in there because I feel like it kind of like encapsulates like her character. This is this is her longest epithet, and I'm not sure if I can pronounce it. It's Chrysosandal Laimopotichtonia, which means that walks with golden sandals through the mud and drinks blood. So the golden sandals symbolize her elated heavenly nature, but she's not. She's also drags those sandals through the mud. She's not afraid to get dirty. She's not above our reality. She's not above our requests. And drinking blood, that's kind of like symbolizes like her monstrous side too. So I thought that one kind of encapsulates her nature kind of poetically. And also I know of this one spell that I never used that uses this epithet to kind of, when it's for the times when if your life hits a rock bottom and you need to throw a grenade, you know, on the situation and kind of turn things tipsy-turvy, upside down. You know, I wouldn't recommend that for when your life is okay. So her attributes, so things that are associated with Hekate. So keys is a big one. A lot of Hekate devotees would like tattoo cross keys on themselves. Torches, that's her big thing, shining a light. Dogs, snakes, daggers, crossroads, witchy plants, and also the strophalos. It's kind of an obscure one. It was a tool of witches of ancient Greece. It was kind of like a spinning thing that they used to send their spells into reality. It was like their howl. They would call them howls. So they would like howl and spin this, and this thing would make this noise, and they would like it is said to send their spells into reality. I have a strophalos, but it's kind of like a basso. So you know, there's like a disc with two strings, and you kind of like twist, and you pull it on, kind of like a child toy, and you kind of pull, and you make it spin, and it's kind of like one of my like big guns when it comes to magic. Like when I think nothing else will work, this is like it kind of like aligns you with the spinning of the worlds and kind of make shit happen. So plants associated with Hekate. Dandelion. So dandelion is special to Hekate because dandelion has exactly the way it grows. The root is the same length as the top part, so it kind of represents her equal dominion in the heavenly realms and the underworld, and also the way the dandelion bloom and like being all white and fluffy kind of represents like this heavenly side of her, but the roots go equally deep into the ground and into the dark. Oak tree is associated with Hekate, and I don't know if anybody is familiar with Zeus and the plants sacred to him, but dandelion and oak are also sacred to Zeus. So that kind of brings up the connection between Zeus and Hekate. Saffron, she's said to be saffron robed. She's wearing a red dress, saffron robed Hekate. So saffron is sacred to her. Garlic, all poisonous plants, so especially aconite, or monk's foot, or wolfbane, the different names of aconite. That's hers, very sacred name. If you're gonna work with that, be very, very careful. It's very, very poisonous. Even touching it can be poisonous. Nightshades and plants that bloom at night, and all witchy plants, all psychoactive plants are sacred to Hekate. She teaches you to do plant magic. So, like I mentioned before, that when I was starting this work, when I was starting magic, I was more on the ceremonial side. When I started working with Hekate, I got into more of like a folk magic, low magic. So sorcery. Animals associated with Hekate, dogs, especially black dogs. Allegedly, they were sacrificing the dogs to her back in the day, long time ago. Snakes, and snakes are kind of they represent this magical energy that emanates into the world. It's kind of like magical energy that permeates reality. Horses, dragon. One of her epithets is dragon, dragonia, I think, and that too, it kind of represents her dual nature. So dragon is a snake that flies, right? And it represents snake usually lives in the ground or on the ground, but dragon is a snake that flies. So it kind of represents her dual nature of the earth and of the heavens. And cow and bull. So you can that thing in her hand, that's a Strophalos. And the moon, yeah. And the moon above her head, that's kind of like the horns of the bull. Her domains, as I said, she is of the sea, the land, and the sky, like Zeus granted her. She is of liminal spaces. So what are liminal spaces? Liminal spaces are spaces in between. Like say you're going on a trip, and you go to the airport. Airport is kind of like you go through customs, and you're kind of like in a liminal space in between. You're not in this country, you're not in that country, but you're kind of in between. Crossroads are liminal spaces. Like the beach is in liminal space. It's kind of the sea, but it's the land. It's kind of like one space in between. And this is the space where magic happens. It's kind of historically that's the space that the witch occupies. Like the magic practitioners are usually like shamans, for example, or witches. They usually live on the outskirts of the village, and they have one foot in the spirit realm and one foot in the realm of the living. So people come to them to go and communicate with the spirits on their behalf, right? Like the shaman that lives on the outskirts of the village in this liminal space. That's Hekate's domain, the liminality and outer space. So a lot of people associate in contemporary practices. A lot of people associate Hekate with the moon. But in my experience and in my practice, she is not associated with the moon. She is the darkness of the outer space, and she is the darkness of the underworld, the inside the earth, and the space in between, like our solar system, is left for the Olympians. So the moon is her own goddess, Luna. Mars is his own thing. Helios is so those are kind of like the Olympians, the planets, and she is kind of like in the darkness of the space and the darkness of the underworld. And she's celebrated on Daphnian, the new moon is her night, and it's not because of the moon. It's because on the new moon we can't see the moon. So it's the absence of the moon that's being celebrated. That our world is in the dark, and her creatures are coming out to roam the streets. So Hekate's magic. So as I said, she is utilizing the restless dead. She uses angry, hungry ghosts, those souls that cannot pass into the next realm, and she gives them purpose through by utilizing them for magical purposes, to go and bring your spells into manifestation. So part of it is also ancestral. When I started working with Hekate, she gave me a familiar spirit, and later I realized that this familiar spirit is my grandmother. So she is, and I work with her. I give her daily offerings, and I work with her, and through that, a lot of people, when they do magic, they kind of like they want to keep magic from backfire. So there's like a lot of so you do a spell for money, but you have to include in there that it must not be from inheritance, because magic usually follows the path of least resistance. So a lot of times people ask for money, and their parents die and leave them inheritance, right? I find that because I have that familiar spirit, I don't have to go through those loops and include all those clauses. Give me this, but not like this, and not like this, and not like that. And she knows me. She's my grandmother. She knows me. She kind of like mediates between me and the spirits, and makes things nice. But
got an advocate, yeah.
Yeah, but also the HGA, the Holy Guardian Angel, kind of there for that purpose.
Make sure he gets lots of food and get well fed.
Yeah. So she can teach you magic. So she can teach you all kinds of magic, but she is especially good with witchcraft, like hands-on magic, the ones like where you get your hands dirty with the dirt and the plants and collecting. Like working with her, I started making tinctures. By the way, I have some tinctures here for sale. Those are dandelion tinctures, great for working with Hekate. They're harvested at the cemetery and blessed by Hekate. So they're good if you like. I use that before any ritual. I take a droplet, put it on my and drink it to bring me closer to her, or you can use it as to put it on your offerings as well. So yeah, I got into tinctures. I got to like I go around like I try to study what are the plants that grow in my area. Like how harvest plants, make tinctures out of them, make like see what I can use them in my life, which has been very rewarding. So yeah, so that's for Pharmakeia. She's the most evoked goddess in the PGM, the Greek magical papyri, which is a collection of spells from the between like 0 BC and like 300 or 400 BC. She and Helios are the two most invoked deities. So she's involved for magical workings a lot. And another thing that's associated with her, which is also like historical thing with her, is the fictionis, which is lead tablets. So back in the days, like thousands of years ago, people would inscribe their petitions in the lead tablets, and lead is associated with underworld because it's heavy. So people would inscribe their petitions, and they would say, "Dear Hekate, bring me, the girl from the convenience store or whatever, or get me a promotion." And they would write this on the lead. They would roll it, punch a nail through it, and they would bury it in the cemetery, or they would like throw it in the ocean, like basically like put it in her domain. And we know about those because they survived until now, because they were done in lead. So how do you start the practice if you want to work with Hekate? So a good way to start your practice is at Dayphone, the new moon. Every month at new moon, she's closest to us. As I said, it's the darkest night of the month. She is said to she's Hekate Nodia, Hekate of the streets. She roams the streets with her ghosts, with her spirits, with the restless dead. And historically, it was a thing to take out offerings to Hekate. So people who could afford it, they would take out offerings and leave them outside their house, and poor people would come and eat them. Right? So it's customary to give offerings to Hekate on a new moon. So if you want to start working with Hekate, I would say take an offering. A customary offering is take eggs, put some honey on the eggs, put a stick of incense, take it to a crossroad, take it to a cemetery. Of course, it's not easy where we live to do those things. Might look a bit creepy, and might get you arrested if you go to.
Good question. Would you cook the eggs?
I do cook the eggs. Yeah. Cook the eggs, peel the eggs, make it appropriate to eat. If you have opportunity, take it to where she is. If you can, just do it at home. So, make the offering, light a candle, and read her Orphic hymn. I'll get to the Orphic hymn in the next slide, but basically it's like a prayer to Hekate. Like there's like Orphic hymns to many different gods, but so it's a prayer that has power to call her. Read the Orphic, like her number is 3, so read the hymn 3 times, 4 times. Maybe you'll feel her the first time. Maybe you won't feel her at all. When you start with magic, it's kind of like kind of like vitamins. Like you don't really feel them working, but they like after a while you kind of feel the accumulated effect, right? So when you start working with a deity, it's the same thing. You kind of like things are the same, but like when I started with her, okay, I feel maybe something, maybe not, but like mostly not, until you develop that like sense of her presence, of her presence in your life. And again, kind of like with vitamins, you feel it most when you stop taking them. You've been taking them for a while, and then you stop, and you're like, oh, okay, I see what they were doing, right? So I felt Hekate the most when I started working with her. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I understand what she was doing. So back to Hekate supper. Read the Orphic hymn and express your desire to work with her. Ask her to shine her torches on your way, to show you the way, to be her companion. So like, remember we were talking about her epithets, her myths. By knowing her myths, you kind of know what she does. And when you so you can speak to her through the terms that she understands best, right? So when you know the myth of Persephone, you ask her, like you did for Persephone, shine your torches, light my way, be my guardian. So you ask her what she wants to be in her life, to be a part of her life, to work with her. And if you don't feel her, look for signs. Again, we went through things that are sacred to her. So like black dogs. If you're like at the crossroad and you don't feel anything, but all of a sudden you see a black dog running towards you, I would take it as a sign that's Hekate. Like sometimes I would take a spell to the crossroad and like I see this like woman comes to me and it's like she has this like black hair and I just see her silhouette. I'm like, yeah, that's her. Even though it's definitely not her, but it's like my perception. It's her. Like it's a sign. Yeah.
Yeah, if she's accompanied by a legion of the dead.
Yeah. Yeah, that may be a bit much to start. Yeah. So and start make it a practice. The next new moon, give the offerings again. You can make it. You can make it. You don't have to wait for new moon. You can read her hymn every day. You don't have to give offerings every day. But if you would read her hymn once a day, she will definitely start showing up in your life. Or not. So, I don't know. Some people say that she rejects some people. But I've never seen that.
I heard that she's very open for witchy people.
Yeah.
For the Swiss.
Yeah.
She's really responsible.
Yeah, and like as the first myth that I was telling you about, the war of the gods, when she released those freaks from hell, she likes people that are, she likes to help people that are oppressed, people that are don't have the opportunity to step into their power, like people that are bullied, people that are considered like on the outskirts of society, like people that are not accepted into the mainstream. She likes to help those people step into their power. She likes working with the misfits.
She's also the teacher of sorcery.
Yeah. So Sasha and Medea are said to be daughters of Sasha and Medea are famous witches from the Greek mythology. The Iliad, the story of Iliad and Jason and the Golden Fleece. So they were Hecate's priestesses. Yeah. So the Orphic hymn to Hekate. This is one of the translations that I like. Hekate, Enodia, Theoditis, most lovely, we call to you now, O saffron-robed lady. You rule the heavens above and black depths below. You skate across waves and flow with the sea foam. Sorcerer's soul, you dance with the dead, and the deer and the dogs who delight in your tread. Destructive one, loner, irresistible queen, you roar like the beast beneath the moon's gleam. Unarmored, unconquered, chariot drawn by bulls, holding keys of the cosmos and heavenly rules. Hierophant of the nymphs who haunt the high places, nurturing children with charm and good graces. We pray, hallowed maiden, as you incense we light, that you indulge your initiates and visit our rite. So this kind of goes through what we talked about before, like her associations with dogs, like who she is, what she is. So that's a good place to start. And why does she want to work with you? Like what's her angle? What does she want in return? And she wants you to go beyond. So as she is the goddess of the threshold, she is the goddess of the liminal. She wants you to cross the threshold, to be more you, to be more powerful, to come out of your safe zone, to come out and like to be more, to become closer to her, to become more like her, and to step into your power. So that's what she wanted. In my experience, in the way I was taught about her, that's her deal. She kind of like she aims for evolution of humanity. She wants to lead us to be more powerful, to be more spiritual, to be more yourself. And that is how I frame my request to her generally. Help me go beyond. Help me get this thing so I can go beyond. You know, it's good when you work with the deity to frame things in the way that are important to them, the way that they understand. You know, like if you work with Mars, you want to go like, help me become the warrior that I want to be, that I can be. You know, help me bring your power. Help me bring your power into this world. You know? So same thing with Hekate. Help me cross that threshold. Help me go beyond. Yeah. So that's all I have. Any questions?